Here's a beautiful picture of the Andromeda Galaxy. Billions, 200 billion stars in that thing. And that's only one. The Hubble looks out there, and there are hundreds of billions of these galaxies. DNC 8847. Behold, all these things are kingdoms. And any man that hath seen any or the least of these hath seen God moving in his majesty and power. Well, I think we just understood. We just learned how it is possible that if we see the stars, the moon, the sun, that we're looking at God. Because he's the guy that made it. It's made from the power of his spirit. Now here's an interesting fact. All of the mass that science can see in the universe, that we can see and measure, only constitutes about 4% of the mass of the universe. The stuff we see and feel is but a small percentage of the real mass that's out there. Now, how do they know that? You can't see it, but you can feel it. Do you see the wind? No, you don't see the wind, but you feel the wind. And you see evidence of its presence. Well, that's the way that they know that there's much more mass in the universe than we are currently capable of detecting. Now, scientific world, they call it dark matter, they call it dark energy. We know it's there, you don't know what it is, you don't know where it is. But from a theological standpoint, we do have a good idea of what it is and where it is. There's other types of matter in the universe, spirit matter, and there's physical matter. Let's look at an atom. Here's a picture of an atom. It's completely out of proportion in size. The nucleus is thousands of times larger than the nucleus of a real atom. But we have the nucleus, and then circling around it, we have electrons. An atom is 99.999% space. Isn't that interesting? Is anything solid? Nothing is solid. If you squeeze all of the space out of the earth, it would fit on the head of a pin and yet have the same mass. There's tremendous space between the nucleus and the electrons. Now, if everything is space, how come when you sit down in the chair you don't fall through it? The reason you don't fall through it is because there's electromagnetic energy. And negative repels negative. And the electrons on the outer circle of the nucleus are negatively charged. Therefore, they repel each other. And that repelling force is very, 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 very strong, very, 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 very close. And so, when you sit down on the chair, here's your butt coming down on the chair, and you've got all these negative electrons here, and in the chair, there's all these negative electrons, and these negative electrons repel these negative electrons, and they won't let you go through. And even though it's 99.999% space, now there's another particle, it's called a neutrino. Now the neutrino does not have a charge. It's neither negative or positive. And an interesting thing about a neutrino, he will jet through the earth like it wasn't even there. It'll jet through 1,000 miles of solid iron, and it won't slow it down a bit. Why? Because it is not affected by the electromagnetic force. It has none. It's a zero. It isn't affected by the positive charge in the nucleus. It's not affected by the negative charge in the electron. It'll jet right through the earth like it didn't exist. Now, where are we going with this? If you enlarge an atom till the nucleus of the atom is the size of a fly's eye, now that's still much too big, we can park that fly in the center of a ball field. And the first electron is a gnat whistling around the parking lot on the outside of the ball diamond. In that ball diamond, is there room for more than one fly's eye without bumping into each other? Yes, there's room for lots of fly's eyes. There is room for a green fly's eye. There's room for a red fly's eye. There's room for a brown fly's eye. There's room for a blue fly's eye. And they will never touch each other because their charges, kind of like the neutrino, just a little bit different, so they don't acknowledge each other's presence. And all of this mass can exist within the same space and not even interfere with each other. Okay? How many dimensions are there? Albert Einstein says there's at least 11 different dimensions. The spirit world is right here, in another dimension. How many dimensions are there within the spirit world? Well, if Einstein's right, maybe 10. Space within space within space. Christ, when he met with the apostles after the resurrection, they were in a room, solid walls. All of a sudden he appears in there. How did he do that? He stepped through the walls. He stepped through the walls. And if you have power to regulate the charge of the atoms that you're carrying in relationship to the atoms in the wall, you can step through it like it didn't even exist.